Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. Oh my gosh. Okay, today is, I didn't even give the date last time. It's September 7th. I have no idea why this screen is not working. It's been a really great, fantastic evening. I'm going to try to get this working. Leah, just as I went to press go live, Jasper decided she needed to go potty, like in the house, like literally. Leah says, do you have to? She's out on the porch saying, do you need to tell people everything? Sometimes you don't have to.
Beginning of a feed, like you could do it in the middle or in the end, not like hi, welcome.
Welcome to our show.
Jeez,
where the
professional.
HDMI cord is just not wanting to work today. So we went live at 6 o'clock roughly. Oh, see, there it was working today. And Leah wasn't here because of pet visits and getting stuck in traffic and a whole host of other things. And so I did the whole show by myself. That's not true. I did a very small portion of the show by myself. And then Leah came in and said, flooding in all the pig pens. And I'm going to need to just get a new HDMI for this. These are very sensitive, by the way. All right. So anyway, flooding. The pig pens started to flood again. We're in the middle of some sort of crazy tropical storm where it could dump like 6 inches a day or something ridiculous. So we were literally out there scooping and covered in our rain gear, our specific rain gear. I'm trying to decide what I wanted. This is like having family here. Leah's not even here. Leah's talking to Matt. You're here. I'm here. Leah, I'm going to need to try something, but if I do, they're not going to have anybody on screen talking to them.
Try something?
Well, I'm going to see if I can switch out this other HDMI cord, the one that goes to the dish. Hang on, people. Be right back.
Love and life. Never a dull moment around here, baby. Dude, Michelle said 10-15 minutes. We'd be
No, hang on. Wait,
then a half an hour.
Hang on. Can we all just remember I said an hour? Leah was like, no.
Like
and I was like, okay, a half hour.
Well,
but I originally, so you can come back in here and try to lie to these people and tell them that I said 15 minutes when I said an hour and you were the one.
First thing you said, we have it on video, you said 10 to 15
I said
minutes.
5-10 minutes, an hour. That was my building up to it.
Oh, I get it.
See?
I was just kind of
Oh my gosh.
Life is awesome. God is awesome. So yeah, 2 hours later, 3 hours later, 2.5 hours later, we're back. What happened was we had a little bitty storm thing. It didn't move. And we have pens out there, pig pens, and we've been getting some problems with some water issues. But we've been getting a lot of rain lately, and I know this is a tropical storm, but like, we've been getting massive amounts of rain this year, like record amounts of rain. And we're getting ready to get more record amounts of rain, but hopefully we worked it.
This is not going to reach.
We worked it out, and thanks to Kansas out there and his muscles.
This isn't even the right one.
And his brain.
I can make this work.
We may have just lost our tempers a little bit out there. So making a public apology to everyone.
That did not happen.
It's, one thing to start snapping at people. It's another thing when you can, between thousands of people, apologize for it, right? Okay. Matt's in the kitchen shaking his head. It was growing over top of us. I think it's DARPA, and I think that they knew weather modification, that we were going live, and they wanted to do everything they could. And I think that there was something in the atmosphere that caused us all to kind of... No, not all. Just me and Michelle. Not Matt. Because he's cool as a cucumber. Like, seriously, I'm not even kidding. It takes a lot to rattle that dude. There we are. Hi, everyone. I love that everyone's saying hi. We're going to get into this news, guys. There's a lot going on. InfoWars banned. Alex Jones banned. Michelle covered that in the first stream. I'm going to cover a few more things on that because I am beyond upset. These are my angry eyes. I don't know what to make of it right now. But I do know that God's going to turn everything around and that all things work together for good for those of the Lord. Been sticking up for Alex Jones a lot on Twitter. I'm trying to find this compilation video so we can go into and talk about the Kavanaugh. It was just a joke. You guys watched some of that hearing, Kavanaugh's hearing. They had people in there that they paid, by the way, to scream. Just stand up random times and just scream. Kamala Harris, she wanted to run for president. The people they want to run for president, Cory Booker, Kamala, they dumber than boxes of rocks. Boxes of rocks is out. Maybe I shouldn't run either. But they not so smart. All right, so Daily Caller, we cut down. Brett, this kind of sums up how this Brett Kavanaugh hearing went.
I welcome everyone to this
There's no volume
hearing
because you don't have a television. They can't see what you're doing. You're going to have to talk to them for a second.
You can't see anything that I'm doing behind there.
You will in very short period of time.
Okay. Let's try it. Let's see. She's wet still. Going around again. That must not be the one. Did you change it out to a different one? I love my life. Is it a TV?
That's a whole new HDMI cord, by the way. It's a different one.
And then I saw your face. Now I'm a believer. I'm just going to read the article. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing began on Tuesday. It continued throughout this week. As expected, both Democrats and protesters continually interrupted the hearing. The outcries from Democrats began on Tuesday, just second after Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley began his introduction. They urged the panel to delay the hearing following the release of 42,000 documents related to Kavanaugh's prior service in the executive branch. On Monday night, Grassley refused, and the interruptions continued. It was a sight to behold. Kamala Harris stopped Grassley mid-sentence before he had even spoken a dozen words of the introduction. She literally said, "We got these documents last night. How do you expect us to read them?" And Grassley was like, "I read them. We're moving on." We have a pink screen, which is usually a good sign.
No.
No. So I really want to show you that video, so we have to come back to that. Because that's just the video. Matt Drudge, ready? So raise your hand if you stomached to get through a few of minutes of Barack Obama's coming out of hiding speech. Totally taking credit for all that Donald Trump has done that's good. Calling Donald Trump out saying, hey, is it that hard to denounce Nazis? Even though Trump denounced Nazis 5,000 times. This is what they do. They lie over and over and over again. So Matt Drudge, after this speech, from what I'm hearing, people are like, this is really bad. It was just a really stupid, awful speech. Matt Drudge trolls Barack Obama and warns Democrats in a rare tweet. He doesn't really tweet out. He just he tweets out his, articles he links to, but he doesn't tweet out just random thoughts. So Matt Drudge, the founder of the highly influential news site, The Drudge Report, trolled Obama in a rare tweet on Friday after the former president crawled out of his hole to trash Trump. Obama gave a speech at the University of Illinois on Friday. He trashed Trump, then arrogantly took credit for Trump's booming economy. The former president kicked off his campaign tour to help the Democrats win this fall in the midterms, only he will do them more damage than good. Pray the Lord. Obama was a horrible president. He's the only president in history to never see a single year of 3% GDP growth. Yet here he is with a smug look on his face, giving himself credit for Trump's accomplishments. Democrats lost a grand total of 1,042 federal posts under Obama's presidency. This includes congressional, state legislator, governorships. This was a repudiation of Obama's policies. Matt Drudge pointed out the carnage in the House and Senate under Obama's presidency, then said, now the former president is determined to never get them back. Democrats lost 76 House seats and 15 Senate seats during Obama's terms. Now the former president is determined they never get them back. Ba-boom ching, laying down the smack. Obama refused to choose the term radical Islam. Now he lectures Trump on saying Nazi, a group that Trump has vilified. During his speech, Obama attacked President Trump, tried to take credit for the Trump economic miracle, something that is laughable at best. And then he says, how hard can it be to say Nazis are bad? See, whoever is writing his speeches must be writing Hillary's speeches. Why aren't I 50 points ahead, you might ask? I mean, seriously, it's embarrassing. For the record, Trump slammed Nazis, but it wasn't that long ago that Barack Obama refused to use the term radical Islam. Obama went off on Republican lawmakers in June 2016 for his refusal to use the term radical Islam. Obama went on and on lecturing Americans on using the term radical Islam. He said, there's no magic to the phrase radical Islam. It's a political talking point. It's not a strategy. Calling a threat by a different name does not make it go away. This is a political distraction. Not once has an advisor of mine said, man, if we use that phrase, we're going to turn this whole thing around. Yeah, so he didn't want to call it Islam. He didn't want to say radical Islam. He just wanted to say random threats. But ooh, Nazis, because they're on every corner now. I walk down the street, I see skinheads. Little Nazi flags all over the place. How hard can it be to denounce them Nazis? There are no Nazis. What is this? There are no Nazis. The fact that he was once a president. Okay? And he is using this whole crazy thing, Nazi thing. It's absolutely, it's insane. It's totally insane. And you know what? I'm really glad that the TV behind me isn't working, because I didn't really want to play Barack Obama talking. So I can just tell you what he said. Because I really, when he speaks, I want to go hurl, or I get violent. You don't want to see either things happening. Let me just tell you. He also would not call Trump president. He wouldn't do it. He said, I did not start with Donald Trump. He is a symptom, not a cause. He's just capitalizing on resentments politicians have been fanning for years. A fear and anger that's rooted in our past, but it's all born out of the enormous upheavals that have taken place in your brief lifetimes. Fine.
And you happen to be coming of age during one of those moments. It did not start with Donald Trump.
He didn't even say president.
It is a symptom, not the cause. He's just capitalizing on resentments that politicians have been fanning for years.
Oh, sure. Politicians have been fanning
A fear and anger that's rooted in our past, but it's also born out of the enormous upheavals that have taken place in your brief lifetime.
What does he even talk about? What did he even say? Do you even know what he just said?
I don't
even know what you're talking about. I don't even know. I don't. Remember this?
Obama punch on Jimmy Kimmel.
Somebody questioning the integrity of elections and the will of the people.
He got laughs during the mean tweets segment.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump. At least I will go down as a president.
Yeah, about that. He your president. He your president. Donald Trump is your president.
That's not, the diamond and silk is Trump, your president.
He's your president.
Yeah, that's
He's your
really
president. He's your president. I love that, actually, by the way. Yeah, so there is that. Barack Obama. Now, Trump was asked. Reporter asked Trump if he watched the Obama speech. Are you ready? I don't think you're ready.
By the way, we won regulations. Somebody, very popular guy here was just interviewing me. You know who I'm talking about? Great guy. And he said, what do you think of President Obama's speech? And I said, I'm sorry, I watched it, but I fell asleep. I found he's very good for sleeping. I think he was trying to take some credit. He was trying to take credit for this incredible thing that's happening to our country. If the Democrats got in, I have to say this to President Obama, and it wasn't him, but would have been the same thing. If the Democrats got in with their agenda in November of almost 2 years ago, instead of having 4.2 up, I believe, honestly, you'd have 4.2 down. You'd be negative. You'd be in negative numbers right now. You'd be in negative numbers. We were heading south. And you look at those bad numbers that were there in the last couple of years, it was this way and going in the wrong direction. It was the weakest recovery in the history of our country since, I guess, to be totally specific, because I'm not sure they've gone any further, since the Great Depression in the 20s. It was the weakest recovery we've ever had. It's barely a recovery. And now this is called, not recovery, this is called rocket ship. What's happening. And today numbers came out, and this is something that makes me happy. The numbers were great. The job numbers were great. The numbers have been incredible. Almost from the beginning. It took me a few months to get the engine started.
Come on, guys.
And we did that with regulation. I mean, we did that by freeing it up. You had pipelines that couldn't be built. I immediately approved them.
You guys, when you watch Barack Obama, you literally want to bang your head up against the wall. You have to admit that even if, like, let's say I'm on the left, you have to love that that is your president because he is so funny.
Yes. And I was hoping that, I can hear you. Mom, your volume's a little bit loud. I'm hearing Leah echo.
Maybe I'm just loud.
Maybe that could be it too. I really would love to do, and we haven't done this in a long time, and he's gotten better with his speeches, but we're, like we did it with the State of the Union, where we just literally play it on the screen here
next
for you guys
rally,
to see it.
the next
and
rally.
we just sit there in the little corner and you can watch our reactions because I laugh. So, I love this man. I laugh so hard. Somebody said in here, I think it was No One. Yeah, that's literally their screen name. Says, every time I see Trump, I smile.
It would have been great if we had Heidi's help, but she voted against it. But we got, if you remember, the individual mandate was wiped out. So we wiped out the individual mandate, which is the most unpopular part of Obamacare. We wiped it out. And then I have 2 more pages, just like this. Look. Okay? But isn't this much more exciting than listening to President Obama say? Because we get things done.
My mom, I made chicken pot pies last night, and there was a whole extra one. Actually, there was like 1.5. Don't ask me how that happens, because it's like the greatest thing on the planet, the chicken pot pie. And so my mom took them and put them in the oven. And when we came in, she had just sat down with a piece of it. And Leah was telling her all about our adventures out there. And she bites into it and she's like, peach pot pie? What is this? And Leah had made a peach pie the other day. So she heated up a whole chicken pot pie and a half of a peach pie, which we all just, Mom and Leah and I had a piece of peach pie because we hadn't eaten all day. And Kansas has this big, giant Mom was very kind. She's like, I figured that you guys would be hungry after working so hard out there.
I don't want to play this, but Dan Bongino says, Obama discussing Trump pressuring the DOJ is the most unintentionally hilarious nonsense I've heard. Obama's team weaponized the FISA courts to spy on an opposition campaign, unmask opponents, use national security letters to gather info on opponents. And so Sean Hannity's been covering that. This is as far as I'm going to go on the Kaepernick, Nike, Neal thing. Colin Kaepernick, the Neal guy. See, there's a flood warning going on right now. You can hear it on our phones. Flood warning. Get your arcs ready.
It's an Amber Alert.
It's an Amber Alert. Never mind. It's an Amber Alert. What do you want to look out for? What does it say? We'll tell everyone.
I just closed it
She
out.
closed it out. Nike signed Colin Kaepernick, and so and his thing was, if you believe in something, sacrificing everything, blah blah blah. I love how somebody put Jordan Peterson's face here and says, it depends on what you mean by believe, and it depends on what you mean by sacrifice. Go clean your room.
Just a technical interruption.
Mm-hmm.
It was great how Michelle fixed the TV.
Oh, okay.
That was news in itself.
Thank you, Mother Leah, who does not acknowledge my...
I thought
We're supposed to stand up to bullies, not follow them. We're supposed to stand up to discrimination. And we're sure as heck supposed to stand up clearly and unequivocally to Nazi sympathizers. How hard can that be? Saying that Nazis are bad.
What Nazis is he talking about? These are pretend guys. Here's the thing. George Soros set these stupid guys up in Charlottesville so that they could say that Trump sympathizes with Nazis, even though Trump has gone over and over and over and saying how, slamming Nazis. Are you ready?
United States President Donald Trump, under pressure to explicitly condemn a weekend rally by white supremacists that ended in bloodshed, denounces racism and slams the Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis as criminals and thugs. Trump was slammed by Democrats and Republicans alike for his initial response to Saturday's violence in Charlottesville, Virginia. A woman was killed and 19 others anti-Trump talked tough after meeting with Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Its name are criminals and thugs.
Racism is evil, and those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is all just a deep state.
When Trump, or
Joke.
excuse me,
It's not
when
even a
Obama
joke.
comes out and says, how hard can it be to say that Nazis are bad, they are not going to settle until... What they're wanting Trump to come out and say is, all of the people that voted for me are Nazis, and I condemn you all.
Exactly.
That's what he's asking.
Okay.
How hard can that be?
All right, so here's what I want you to see here.
On the nomination of
Mr. Chairman.
Brett.
Here we go. Brett, go ahead, Mom.
Just to stay on the same subject you just were on, we have to admit, Merkel, the EU government, they are real Nazis.
They
the
are.
whole thing, the whole EU government was set up by Nazis. So
They are you.
Obama was
They
being
are
honest,
the real Nazis.
They are you.
Nazis.
You can see
Yes.
it's a whole act that Obama's putting on to frame Trump as a Nazi when everybody who's got eyes open knows the EU and Merkel, Brussels, that's NATO, it's all Nazis. They came, their fathers, their husband, whatever, they're all Nazis.
You are of your fathers are Nazis.
So here,
That's a play on Jesus.
watch this.
Welcome everyone to this confirmation hearing
No, this is painful.
on the nomination of
Mr.
Judge
Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh
Mr. Chairman.
to serve as
I've
Associate
seen this
Justice.
like 5
Mr. Chairman,
times.
I'm not finished.
Oh, no, I
Mr.
haven't seen
Chairman,
this.
I'd like to be recognized to ask a question before we proceed.
Oh my God, can you let me do what I need to do?
Mr. Chairman, I think we ought to have this loudmouth removed.
Ow! You're tearing my ear off!
Now this is the same Chuck Grassley that ran the Gorsuch hearing. I'd like to run this hearing the same way if you'll give me the courtesy of doing it.
Command order.
Damn it!
lost my composure out there.
To protect individual liberty, the framers designed a government according to the law and not according to popular opinion.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We gotta keep our composure. We've gone too far. There's too much to lose. We gotta
I never thought that we would see Will Ferrell in his underwear on Resistance Chicks, Leah. Thank you. No warning there. No warning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've listened with interest today.
Mr. Chairman,
I don't know that the committee should have to put up with this type of insolence that's going on in this room today.
and frankly, these people are so out of line, they shouldn't even be allowed in the doggone room.
Your teddy bear with you.
Okay.
I think 70 people were
The
arrested.
order, it is regular order for us to receive all the documents, that this committee is entitled to.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, it is also,
I think
Mr. Chairman,
This is shaping up to be the hypocrisy hearing, and that's hard to do in the Senate.
Most important factors to me is he's already exercised excellent judgment in marrying a Texan, Ashley from Abilene. So I know he's a good judge. But this is the first confirmation hearing for a Supreme Court justice I've seen, basically, according to mob rule.
That really was fun. That was great.
We watched
Whoever
kind
did
of
that
like
gets a
the
cookie.
whole thing, and it was just over and over and over again. And you guys, these people were paid. They went outside. There was a George Soros dude handing out money, cash from a bag. It's not even a joke. I have links. I have links for all these things. Chris Holman told Michelle that it took him an hour and a half to go through my whole Twitter today.
An hour. I think it was
An hour. Yeah, well, there was a lot to do. A lot. And I wish I could go over it all with you, but I'm just go over some highlights. Fact-checking Obama's speech. Thanks to Breitbart here. It's Obama's economy. The most important claim Obama made departing from his prepared text was that he deserves credit for the economic miracle Trump and Republicans are touting. When you hear how great the economy is doing right now, let's just remember when this recovery started, he said. Those job numbers are the same as they were in 2015 and 16. The kernel of truth inside Obama's claim is that the pace of job creation has been the same over the past several years. What he leaves out is that the economy is doing much better by several other measures as well, including the pace of growth, the rise in income, blah, 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 blah. Trump is capitalizing on resentments that politicians have been fanning for years. This is an updated version of Obama's bitter clingers theory of 2008 or Hillary Clinton's deplorables. Obama, quote, made the world safer. I can just tell you right now.
Pause right here because I do have this from Josh Rodgers. I'm sorry. He had sent this to me.
Okay.
These are this is a screenshot of this lady who Josh put this together.
Yes.
Of this lady, you know, you see her, and here she's getting a little bit of money there.
Yes.
So I just wanted to bring that up to show you guys.
Thank you for that.
Okay, now carry on.
Mm-hmm.
If we move on, then I won't get to it.
Okay. Anyways, Obama would not have been made the world safer. He did not make the world safer. Totally destabilized Syria and Libya. He did not. Trump is appealing to his tribe, Nazis, blah, blah, blah. Obama certainly found it hard to dissociate from the racist and extremists that he had surrounded himself with, secretly meeting with Louis Farrakhan and Jeremiah Wright, his little racist pastor. Remember that guy? Trump is threatening the freedom of the press. No. Has anybody seen what's happening to all of us being censored? We're the press, and we found a way to get our stuff out there. Now, I'm not going to be able to find it, you guys, because I love Alex Jones, but their system that they have for their video platform is not good for playback.
Yeah.
Like, I can't play it back and find the right spot. I don't think. Maybe I can. Let me see if I can. He had a Dr. Shiva on, and we'll just check and see if we can find it, because I want you to hear what Dr. Shiva says, because
if you're going to look for something, then I will do, we'll get this settled here.
Okay.
Britt Baza keeps saying, Michelle, 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 Michelle.
What?
There's news, there's news, there's news, very exciting news. I didn't get a chance to open it up, but I do know the headline title, and I can possibly pull it up from here. And if it's a long video, I'm not going to be able to play it, Britt, but I do know that from what I read, it is good news. So,
see, I can't. Okay, he had Shiva Ayodhya. I can never say his last name. Dr. Shiva on.
This is my first video I've done.
We'll play that at the end.
Okay, Leah says we're going to play it at the
end.
end.
We'll cover our news, and then we'll cover that at the end.
Okay.
So, Dr. Shiva says, as far as the censorship goes, there is a post office act. And I didn't actually get to hear all of it because I was driving, and I drove away from my house with the Wi-Fi on. And then I couldn't bring it back up because the way the app works is that if I catch it while they're going live, I can go forward and backwards. But if I try to play it back, I can't fast forward, I can't go backwards. Okay. It's so frustrating. InfoWars, please help me. I don't know how to get to your daily videos and watch them over again. If you guys know how to do that. Because I find pieces of them on BitChute, pieces of them on vid.me. I played with it, I broke it. I broke it. I moved it out of the way to get... There, it's back. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, something about the post office. Using the Post Office Act for the internet. Internet rights.
Okay.
Post office rights. That you can send things, anything in the mail.
Right.
Right? Certain things, you can't just ban certain things from being in the mail unless they're illegal.
Right, but why use the Post Office Act when we could easily use...
I didn't get to finish the stupid video because I left the house, but I know that Shiva knows what he's talking about.
All right,
so don't ask me, ask Shiva, but I'm saying he's got a plan, and I like it.
I like it.
It was going in the right direction. Okay? They were wargaming this whole thing.
I love it.
He's the guy who created email. I think he knows what he's talking about.
I'm with it.
Don't mess with me right now. I'm already on edge.
Rawr!
Don't ask me questions. All right. This whole stupid witch hunt, Russia whip hunt, started with George Papadopoulos.
Oh, wow.
Stupid. He has now been, at the end of it all, sentenced to 14 days in jail for lying to the FBI. Not for actually doing anything, but for going in under the FBI and lying to them about what he didn't do wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. The only thing he did was lie to the FBI about what he didn't do wrong.
And they can put you in jail for that?
For 14 days.
I'm really kind of surprised, though, because from what I understand, like when you're up and you put your hand on the Bible, which they don't really do anymore, and you swear to tell the whole truth.
No, he didn't lie like that. It was in a conference. That's
what I'm saying. It seems like lying to the FBI is not perjury, is it?
Yes, I guess it is.
It can't be, is it really?
Yeah, you have to be careful when you get pulled over by a cop. If you lie to them, you can get in trouble for that too. Wow. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that's not like a lie.
So Trump tweets out, yeah, it's for lying. Okay. 14 days for $28 million, Trump exclaimed in a tweet. $28 million. Okay. This whole thing has gone on for one dude in jail for 14 days.
That'll teach him.
Mueller and his angry Democrat donor lawyers are raking in millions of dollars in taxpayer money, all because Donald Trump won the 2016 election. A crime hasn't even been named by the special counsel. The Office of Special Counsel released a statement of expenditures at the end of May, revealing over $4.5 million has been flushed down the toilet in just a 6-month period hunting Russian ghosts. This $4.5 million is in addition to the $6.7 million the special counsel cost the first 5 months. Add that to the Department of Justice costs, $17 million, and you have $28 million on 14 days in jail. That's about what you get for drunk driving. During Thursday's Supreme Court hearing, I don't know if you guys saw the Cory Booker moment, but you're going to see it here.
Colleagues who are with me have violated those rules.
I'm going to let you know, by the way, he went into this big, long thing, I am Spartacus, but the documents that he was going to release had been released for him to release.
Really?
Before he went on his tirade.
Okay.
So it's embarrassing.
If he is not a tempest in a teapot, but sincerely believes that, then bring the charges. Go through the Senate process to take on somebody that you said is unbecoming to be a senator. Let's go through that process, because I think the public should understand that at a moment that somebody's up for a lifetime appointment, that this issue, does the public have a right to know? This is not about the Presidential Records Act. This is not a violation of the Presidential Records Act, not a violation of Senate rules, sir. But if somebody's going to land those charges, I hope that they will follow through with me and Senator Durbin, Senator Coons, Senator Whitehouse, Senator Hirono, Senator Blumenthal, now Senator Feinstein. I hope that they will bring charges against us. And I'm ready to accept the full responsibility for what I have done, the consequences for what I have done, and I stand by the public's right to have access to this document and know this nominee's views on issues that are so profoundly important, like race and the law, torture, and other issues. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I read the Senate Rule 29.5, the standing rules of the Senate, for the benefit of all senators.
Thank you, Charles.
Any senator, officer, or employee of the Senate who shall disclose the secret or confidential business or proceedings of the Senate, including the business and proceedings of the committees, subcommittees, and offices of the Senate, shall be liable, if a senator, to suffer expulsion from the body, and if an officer or employee to dismissal from the service of the Senate and to punishment for contempt. So I would correct the senator's statement. There is no rule. There is clearly a rule that applies.
Then apply the rule and bring the charges.
Mr. Chairman, all of us are ready to face that rule on the bogus designation of committee confidential. Just because there is a Senate rule doesn't mean...
These people are absolutely insane. I don't even know. Except Booker apparently didn't read or understand the email. After Booker released the emails, pundits and politicians alike rushed to digest the 12-page bombshell, only to discover that Booker chose an incredibly stupid hill to die on. In the 2002 email discussing airline security after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, Kavanaugh wrote that he generally favored race-neutral security measures, adding that his colleagues would need to grapple with the interim question of what to do before a truly effective and comprehensive race-neutral system is developed and implemented in order to prevent another terrorist attack. Kavanaugh wrote that the interim question is of critical importance to the security of airlines and American people in the next 6 months or so, especially given Al-Qaeda's track record. So it's a total dud. It shows Kavanaugh saying, hey, let's not racially profile.
Wow.
And that's his little hill that he wanted to die on, and there was no dying on and no hill because he was allowed to say it anyways. Yeah. So Financial Times said, with one hand on the TV remote and the other typing out tweets, Donald Trump's bedroom is the bridge of his Star Trek Enterprise. And a whole article about that, and I just was like, beam me up, baby.
Why not?
Beam me up. I love Star Trek. My mom made me a Trekkie, so I've seen all of them, but the originals probably about 20 times, like each episode, so don't mess with me.
All right, so we are having issues with volume on the Facebook Live. I have told the viewers on Facebook Live, unfortunately, I'm going to drop a link to the YouTube where you can just leave Facebook and come and watch us on YouTube. So the YouTube viewers are having no trouble from what I understand with volume.
Sorry about that if you can't hear us. I can talk louder.
No.
It's my favorite thing to do.
No.
It makes
the
me
YouTube
laugh.
viewers have probably, some of them have earbuds in.
All right, you guys. So the reason I think Obama had to come out was because they had to bring him out because he's getting scared.
Yeah.
Because they're this close to uncovering that he knew everything. Because on Sean Hannity, what they're saying is that it goes straight up to Obama. They're still not sure about the FISA warrant because there's rumors that it went through the Attorney General and not through the FISA court. And then they're saying that, I know, rumors. I'm not kidding you. These things I read, Sarah Carter and all these people. So, also, where was I going with that before you gave me a weird face? And then Obama would have had to know. That's the point with that. Let me just read this article. Let's see. Obama attacked President Trump. Congressional investigators are getting close to unraveling Spygate and the several attempts by the FBI and the DOJ to spy on President Trump during and after the election, and now it looks like Barack Obama was the one calling the shots. So it makes sense that he would attack President Trump in order to build a narrative that President Trump has it out for him before the Spygate scandal blows it wide open.
That makes total sense.
Gateway Pundit reported last weekend that it appears that the reason there was no FISA court hearing on the Carter Page FISA warrant was because Obama's Attorney General Loretta Lynch forced through the application per an obscure loophole in the law. We next reported, Gateway Pundit, this Labor Day morning that if this is correct, then likely Attorney General Sessions or Rosenstein pushed through any extensions after President Trump took office. Now, they've unlocked a bombshell and it's worse. President Obama would have had to approve the Carter Page warrant per law order for the spying to proceed without a court hearing. The rule described on page 7 of the 1978 FISA Act. So that could be why he's coming out, okay?
I just cranked up the volume as loud as it will go, the microphone here, guys. So on YouTube or Facebook, if you're having trouble hearing,
so per the censorship, Michelle played for you guys the Paul Joseph Watson videos which discuss this, but I'm going to go over just a little bit more because Twitter and just Jack Dorsey guy here who runs it, he was at a congressional hearing to which these congressmen are horrible at these hearings. They're absolutely abysmal. Any one of us could have done better questioning Jack Dorsey on any number of things to make him, cough it up, the truth. But Alex Jones went in, and I'm not going to play all the videos, but he confronted a guy at CNN who's been pushing to have InfoWars banned, and he confronted
from the face
Marco
of the planet.
Rubio, and it was because of the CNN thing that he was just like any other reporter. You see reporters get in people's faces with microphones and confront them all the time, right? You do. He's a journalist. What?
Go ahead. Well, I already told the people that I felt like it was a bit much.
Yeah, but journalists do it all the time.
Okay, carry on.
No, I felt like it was a bit much too. Like, I felt like he went over the top. But I don't believe he crossed a line. Here's the thing. If I come on here and I say, radical Islam, blah, 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 you could say, hey, Leah, it's kind of over the top. They might catch you. But Alex Jones is known to get in people's faces, and he hasn't been taken off Twitter.
Right, I get it.
This is what he does. He didn't, physically put hands on anybody.
Right.
He didn't threaten anybody, but as a journalist, he went after. She walked away, and I'm still talking to somebody who's just gone. I'm just talking to air. It's pretty funny. But as a journalist, he I gotta tell you, when you see what these people on CNN say about Donald Trump, when you see what they do to conservatives, this is no different. You watch the Paul Joseph Watson video where CNN confronted that poor old lady for, are you a Russian, blah, 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 right? Journalists do this stuff all the time. So Twitter notified CNN and Huffington Post and a bunch of left-wing people.
But not Fox News.
Beforehand. So they had their articles ready.
Yep.
So as soon as they went public, literally at the same exact 4:47, same exact time, the Twitter announcement goes out and the CNN announcement goes out, the Huffington Post announcement goes out. And Fox News learned about it at that point and then did an article an hour later.
Right.
Alex didn't even know about it before CNN knew about it. That goes to show you the level of hypocrisy here. Now, there's a person who does... let's see if I can find it. It's Blue Check Mark Watch or something. Let's see if I can find him.
Patriot Gallery.
I was just thinking when you were saying all this stuff, I was thinking, do you know how these journalists scream at Trump? I mean, they scream at him.
I know. What about
where he goes? They scream
what about
at
that?
Trump.
What about those? Yeah, the journalists just screaming at him, getting up. What about CNN should be banned for all the times they literally send in what's his face to?
Well, apparently it is far more offensive to get in Marco Rubio's face than it is the President of the United States.
Well, now it looks like he's taken off of Twitter. Or is it just verified hate? There's some blue check mark watch guy, verified hate, blue check watch. What he does, I'm not even following him. We have uncovered over 900 examples of explicit racism and hatred from verified left-wing accounts on Twitter through the verified hate campaign. It's, you guys, every day he comes out with a new one. Verified hate. I was having a good day, and then
raises her hand when she comes out.
And then fascist such got stabbed, and so now I'm having a great day. Blue checkmark guy, university professor, avowed communist, celebrating political terrorism. And why was Alex Jones banned again? Go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking about all these protests, and they use every swear word in the book. I think that Twitter has to get all their names down and ban every single one of them on those protests who use every swear word possible and are so violent. I mean, it just so happened that they saw Alex Jones, and Alex Jones was there. But if you're going to start banning everybody when they start getting loud and violent, Alex Jones did not use any swear words. But I mean, all these people, they cover their faces and everything with no more cover than faces. You start swearing, we're going to get your name and we're going to ban you off Facebook, Google, Twitter, everything, because that was violent and abusive at those protests. All Antifa will be kicked off.
Amen. Well said, Mom.
This guy goes through and does all this verified hate. Anything goes when you attack white people. When it comes to race, the only standards are double standards. At the urging of the system media, Twitter has begun a vast purge of right-leaning accounts, ostensibly to stop hate speech. American Renaissance's account is just one of a great number that have been banned, despite strict respect for Twitter's terms of service. Yet many Twitter's vaunted verified accounts, those with coveted blue check marks, tweet crude, hateful, and borderline violent posts that Twitter seems to think are just fine as long as they target whites. It's things like I hate white people. White progressives no doubt think destroying white political power might save white people from themselves. That is why thanking blacks, especially women, was all the rage for progressives, especially white progressives. When Doug Jones defeated Roy Moore, thanks to overwhelming black vote for the Democrat, Twitter, let's see. Of course, one can easily imagine what would happen if one of the rare Twitter conservatives with a verified account tweeted F black women, right? You can imagine what would happen, but you can say F white men all the time, every day, all day long.
Donna Terry says, I went to Home Depot and a gentleman, which is funny because he's older than me, and that's hard to be. Not true, Donna Terry. You're absolutely adorable and young. Started talking to me about Trump. He has a sticker on his truck, and some lady verbally attacked him. You get these lefties, unfortunately, I hate to label people, and they are so violent. So you're right, the hypocrisy of Alex doing that.
Verified hate.
Verified hate.
Verified hate.
Verified hate.
Verified hate.
Verified hate movement. Now, this is a particular grassroots movement that was started by the Twitter account called Meme America, meme_America. Now, this account collects tens of thousands of tweets by verified pundits, verified news personalities, verified Hollywood actors, Hollywood producers.
If you don't know this, pretty much every single one of these tweets says, I hate white people are blah, blah, blah. But imagine if it said this about black people.
Who are tweeting out anti-white rhetoric, who are tweeting out hate against white people.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of examples.
To spread awareness of the double standard of censorship of conservatives while the left roams rampant with hate.
The idea was to show the hypocritical double standard.
This is low volume, guys. I can't make it any louder.
Well, you just, So go to the blue check watch.
Did you explain to people what you're doing here and why the show may be like a little bit disjointed?
No.
Leah decided to literally just scroll through all of her tweets.
I'm not at my Twitter. No, I haven't even started doing that. I was just going over my...
Really?
No, not yet.
You haven't even gotten there. We're going to be here all night.
No, we're not, because I'm getting... my brain literally fried outside.
But we have so much news to cover.
I can't even. I know, my brain. Okay, that's why we're going all over the place. Just you got to just roll with it. You just have to go with it, okay? Now, okay, Obama says, building walls are stupid, but Obama's building a wall. Workers put the finishing touches on a brick barrier around his $5 million DC mansion.
That is fan-stinking-tastic. Oh, they built him a wall. They did, yeah.
Nice little gated community there.
But see, I think he should be open to people just coming in. Why does he have to have borders?
Community of one here?
Yeah.
That's great. That's fun.
No wall, no hate, Obama.
Right. Oh, anonymous insider, anonymous letter saying I am part of the resistance. I'm going against Trump. If anything that Trump has done is good, it's in spite of him, not because of him. And, when everybody's been talking about this deep state trying to undermine the president, and then somebody writes a letter and says, I'm the deep state trying to undermine the president. Hey, thanks for letting us know you're there. Hat tip. You're a truther. Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. Now we know you're there for a fact. We always felt like you were there, but now we know. So that was that letter. Why is Alex Jones banned from Twitter but not Maxine Waters after her calls for violence? That's a good question.
Good question there.
This person says, I've never been an InfoWars or Jones fan, but there is something terribly wrong when Farrakhan, Sour have verified accounts despite spewing hate and supporting terror, but Jones is banned for being harmlessly over the top. Pretty much, that's a good way.
True story.
Tulsi Gabbard makes a good point. She says enough is enough. The U.S. must end its support for Saudi Arabia and stop waging interventionist wars that increase destruction, death, and suffering around the world. I agree with her. There are people within Trump's cabinet that want war and are going to push to the overthrow Syria. Now, Russia has come out and says, hey, listen, we are going to go after the rest of Al-Qaeda in Idlib, in Syria. We're going to get this done. Assad and Russia are going to go into Idlib and get rid of Al-Qaeda.
Right. But
they have, and they show the U.S. proof that Al-Qaeda is going to get U.S. response and world response, so they're going to do a chemical attack.
Sure.
So Nikki Haley, boo-boo, comes out and says any chemical weapons attack will be blamed on Assad no matter what. So if I'm the enemy,
I'm going to be doing the chemical attack so that they go after Assad. Definitely going to be doing that.
Oh my gosh. Seriously.
Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Pussy hat.
Oh man.
Design withdrawn after activists insist some women have penises. An Irish woman has withdrawn the pussy hat knitting pattern, which she had posted online as a service to fellow female protesters preparing for President Trump's visit to Ireland in November. Woke activists had pointed out to her that some women have penises and not vaginas. I won't be making pussy hats. I'm deleting the pattern I posted. I am really sorry for upsetting people. I've read. I've listened and learned.
I've listened and learned that some women have penises. Here's the thing, guys.
What I love is that she's using her ears and her mind, but with eyes. Have you physically figured this out somehow? Wait, I'm gonna finish her stuff.
Okay, finish.
And while it was not intentional, it was thoughtless. I was thoughtless for thinking that, of course, some women have penises. I will make some hats with yellow roses instead. What is that to represent the penis?
What is wrong with you?
It makes it so much better in an Irish accent. Catherine's noble, thoughtful, and caring decision has been respected by some. If there is one thing you are not, it is thoughtless. If you're taking orders for yellow rose hats, the little penis one. I'd love one.
Leah!
But not, unfortunately, by everyone. People need help, seriously, from Erdogan, somebody.
People need help, and you need help.
Make pussy hats, but with big willies coming out the top, more inclusive. Just pick which one you want. Hey, the fact that it's called pussy hats to begin with is just real hard. You've already gone into the gutter, you might as well go all the way. We're swimming in the gutter when we even say pussy hats. Like, we can't, there's no up from there, there's only down. Right? Oh, the yellow road.
Okay, first of all, that's not an Irish song.
I know. It's Texas.
Right. Second of all, here is the good news.
There's a good news. There's an upside to this.
There is definitely an upside.
There's an upside. Why? But, yeah.
Maia says, Leah Faith, stop it. No, the upside is we don't have to call these people out. We do not have to work really hard.
No.
They are shooting themselves in the foot.
Bang, bang, baby. Bang it.
Jesus has a scripture for this. Do you know what it is, Leah?
Well, they build this net, and then they fall in it themselves.
No, that's not the one I want. How can Satan cast out Satan?
That's a good
A
question.
kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. They are much divided against themselves.
Yes.
They don't have, and you know, they are making our own talking points for us. It's fantastic.
Take a moment. I want you all to take a moment for Catherine. Because she's feeling really bad. She's feeling sorry. She's really feeling sorry. Like, she really feels bad.
Right.
That she had not thought that some women have male parts.
Right.
And she's at home right now feeling bad about herself. And that is the saddest part of this whole thing. Like, she's feeling bad.
Well, what I don't understand is, here's the thing. I mean, we all know that being a male is a privilege. So they say.
Yeah.
You are privileged when you are male. And so I don't think that these women that have penises can join the women's movement, because the women's movement is about oppression, female oppression, all because they don't have a penis. And so
Isn't that what they go around saying all the time?
Any of the women
If I walked in a room with a male part, then you would all respect me.
Right. And, you know, I think that I remember a specifically ridiculous rant from Ashley Judd. I think it was a poem that someone had written that she read with fervency out loud.
Bad.
And it had something about the blood stain on my sheets. And that was supposed to represent the fact that because women have periods, we are oppressed and life is so much harder for us. And so I don't understand how that can coincide with these women that have the
male parts.
Exactly. So they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Okay, so raise your hand if you know who Elon Musk is, the head guy of Tesla. His little company makes the little electric cars. He trying to make driverless cars, although they keep killing people.
Well, the new Tesla cars that are out right now have become this status symbol for people
Yeah,
to drive.
but they've been blowing up, like spontaneously combusting. Right?
Maybe it's because
some
he
people
smoked
think
too much pot.
Some people think he's awesome. Now, I do not. I find him to be incredibly neurotic and psychopathic. He goes on Joe Rogan's show.
Has resigned effective Tuesday, September 4th. Said he has no disagreements with Tesla's leadership or its financial reporting. Comes hours after Musk makes another eye-opening move. Last night on comedian Joe Rogan's podcast, Musk was...
I love how Joe Rogan gets to be comedian and he's not far right.
Dude, and that guy Joe Rogan is out there. He is messed up.
Take a listen.
So is that a joint? Or is it a cigar?
No.
Okay.
It's marijuana inside of tobacco.
Oh, okay. So it's like pot tobacco
Yeah.
posh.
You ever had that?
Yeah, I think I tried one once.
Come on, man. You probably can't because stockholders, right?
They're playing this, by the way, on
Okay.
the news, which is hilarious.
Do people get upset at you if you do certain things? There's tobacco and marijuana in there. That's all it is. Shares really didn't care much about this until the 8K dropped.
Shareholders really didn't care much about this. Listen, I actually see people all the time saying, legalize it, blah, blah, blah.
Anyway, he was, to finish that story, after he did smoke that, he was visibly altered.
Well, and they gave him whiskey too.
And it was an embarrassment. His company is already flopping.
What I find fascinating is that Joe Rogan holds the blunt like one holds a cigarette, and Elon holds it like one holds a joint. So he's a little pothead. Cost to insure Tesla's $1.8 billion junk bond against default shot to a record high. Tesla executive exits. CEO smokes pot on webcast.
It's embarrassing.
Shares are reeling.
It's embarrassing.
Tesla thread. In a little more than 1 hour, Elon Musk is going on Joe Rogan, and he unpopped that. Yeah, he did that. He did this whole thread of Elon Musk on the Joe Rogan show.
So I just listen.
He says Elon is way too buzzed. He's dragging, and Joe is the one keeping most of the conversation going. I
just would like to, since we're on this subject and it's our show and I can do whatever I want, this is a public service announcement.
I'll show you afterwards.
Well, I've driven one. I love them.
Yeah, but most people don't know what it can do.
In terms of like ludicrous mode? In terms of like driving super fast and irresponsibly on public roads? Is that what you're saying?
Well, any car can do that.
Yeah. What can it do that I need to know about?
I mean, the Model X can do this like ballet thing to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It's pretty cool.
Where it dances?
Yes.
Legitimately? Like moves around?
Yes.
Why would you program that into a car?
Seemed like fun.
That's what I get about you. That's what's weird. Like when you showed up here, you were all smiles, and you pull out a fucking blowtorch or not a blowtorch. But I'm like, look at this dude.
Not a flamethrower.
This is why we don't really watch Joe
Rogan.
I want to be clear, it's definitely not a
But
flamethrower.
you're having fun. Like this is like this thing when you program a car to do a ballet dance. You're having fun.
It's not fun because people have died, and that's where I'm like, Joe, you smoke your joints. Whatever you want to do, okay? Mm-hmm. But know this. You got somebody who's getting high all the time.
Right.
Somebody who's getting drunk all the time. Programming and helping to program vehicles that people drive. And people have died. And if I did something and I built something that killed someone, I wouldn't be joking and using flamethrowers. I would be torn apart. Okay?
You'd probably shut down your company. Really.
Yeah.
But anyway, here's my public service announcement. I'm going to get this in here really quickly because I know that as libertarians, we are supposed to be all legalized pot. Millie Weaver came out and tweeted, I stand with Elon Musk, whatever, make it legal, whatever. Just pure observation in my life.
This is
my friends that are in their 40s and 50s who have smoked pot for more than like 10 years, just recreationally, kind of on a regular basis-ish, they are getting dumber and dumber and dumber. I can see it. They do not have Alzheimer's. It is visible. They have that pot making you dumber look. They cannot respond. They can't complete their sentences
This is when
correctly.
they're not even high.
And that's when they're not high, guys. That's just regular. Pot kills yo brain cells. If you guys want to legalize it, we can have that argument later. But if you are watching Resistance Chicks and you smoke pot, you are going to end up ruining your brain. It's just a simple fact. Now, you can make that choice whether you want to do it or not, but I have seen it time and time and time again. You cannot consistently smoke pot and expect to be the sharpest tool in the drawer for the rest of your life. This has happened to at least a dozen people that I personally know and interact with on a regular basis, and I'm not going to come out and tell them you getting stupider. I know they smoke pot. They've offered me joints. I understand, okay? But you're getting stupid. Like, ridiculously, and it doesn't come back.
And it's hard to be around these people.
It is very hard. I'm like, I remember when you were intelligent. I remember when we could have conversations, and now it's embarrassing to be around them.
And it's across the board. See, here's the thing. It's not like, oh, I know this one person and they smoke pot.
Yeah.
Off and on or regularly. Like, we see people, and like, unless it's crazy and people getting Alzheimer's in their 40s and 50s now.
No.
Then,
just from smoking pot, then, because it's only the people that we know that smoke pot that are ending up like this.
In addition, being around somebody who is stoned is not fun when you're normal.
No,
because they're in another universe. They're in another world.
Well, it's like being around drunk people.
I hate it. I literally, this is like personal, like just choice.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm having a conversation with somebody, I want to have a conversation with somebody.
Right.
I don't want to have the conversation with somebody who's like, I can't even open my eyes. The light, man. The light. Where are you? Come back. Go shut yourself in a closet until you're back. And I know that every time you do, a little part of you stays in that closet. It's true.
So this is just a public service announcement for anybody out there that's watching us. I'm sure we have a lot of viewers that do smoke pot. Okay, you guys.
You're not getting any smarter.
You are declining in the upstairs region. Like, seriously, it's not going to get better, and it is one of those things. It's irredeemable.
Right.
You can't get it back. Once it's gone, it's gone.
So
it's like the enamel on your teeth.
We're hopping over to the censorship thing. It's really very simple. Twitter and other social media platforms should not get to decide what information is good or not. Only the individual viewing it gets to decide that. If you suggest otherwise, then you are suggesting that somehow some people are less able to judge quality than you. So, if that's what you think, just be honest about it so people understand that you think they are stupid. How would you like it if your telephone company listened to your calls, then disconnected your phone if they did not like what you were saying?
Exactly. That's a really good analogy. Patriot Gallery.
A public service announcement. It's like when you go to public school, you think you're getting smarter, but you're actually getting dumber.
Ooh.
You are born with everything you need to know. I mean, when I get set free from public school teaching, I can see why they make a milk container with the eaves going out so that the poo-poo doesn't go in, you know, when the cows are there and you're milking your cows. I mean, you start to think again. You just have this natural way of thinking that's normal and healthy.
Yeah.
But smoking pot's like going to public school. You think you're smarter and smarter.
Oh, they really do.
We know somebody was on heroin, and he thought he was so smart when he was high. He was just so much better. He was a precision. Yeah.
Oh, that's the word I get all the time.
But actually, you're dumber, and it's sorry. It just happens at public school, even when you go to college. You think you're getting smarter in college. You're actually getting dumber. You're taking care of problems that dumb people made in the first place.
Exactly.
Prevention is the best medicine.
Yes.
Is she stuck here?
Possibly.
I think she might be stuck here.
Oh, baby. So let me read this quote from Lindsey Graham.
She's her cord.
For the sake of the members of the media and the left, I do hope Obamacare covers treatment for the Trump re-election syndrome. It's increasingly more likely to occur. Let's see. Cory Booker, even CNN called him out on his Spartacus moment.
That's so great.
I can't listen
But you
to it
didn't even
again.
play the Spartacus moment.
Yeah, I thought I had it up.
Yeah, but you didn't. It's so great.
Let's see.
He was asking this candidate.
Well, speaking of the documents, this morning you said you were going to break Senate rules so you could release documents pertaining to Kavanaugh. You said you were willing to risk expulsion from the Senate to do that. Now Republicans on the committee have said that the documents had already been approved for release before 4 a.m. this morning. Senator Cornyn basically accused you of a political stunt to bolster a possible run for the presidency. Was that just a stunt?
Well, I mean, the amusing thing about that is Cornyn first said is he threatened me with expulsion, said what I was doing was unbecoming to the office I was holding. It's a deep insult for a senator to give to a senator in an environment with lots of collegiality.
So you're
He was
trying
doing that
to, like,
because
give people...
last night I broke the Senate rules by reading from that email. And then today, throughout the entire day, this is not just about one email, I've already released over 20 unjust law. You see, there's the right to know where he stands on these issues.
But I guess the question is, was it really a violation? Because at this point, I mean, to be clear, Bill Burke, the President Bush's presidential record representative, said he cleared the documents before 4 a.m. per your staff's request, and that they had told you you could use them publicly. Grassley's office also confirmed you were told that the restrictions on the documents had been waived before you spoke today. So how do you square that with the idea that, with what you've said?
Well, I square that very easily.
He's Spartacus.
I am Spartacus. For those of you that are not aware, because Leah can't find the clip, he was saying...
Oh, I can find it.
That he was doing this great monumental thing. He's breaking these rules by reading from these documents. And it turns out that he wasn't breaking any rules. They had been cleared that morning. He was told that he... But like literally when he goes to read from me, he's like, I'm doing this great thing. I don't have it. I can't quote it verbatim, but he said, this is my Spartacus moment. So that's why, for those of you that are unaware, that's why the Spartacus comment keeps going around. Leah, you don't have to find it.
Okay, thank you.
You have other news that we need to cover.
Yeah. So Jim Jordan and his group said, we're calling on President Trump yesterday afternoon to declassify the Carter Page FISA application.
FBI knew everything.
What? No, it's great.
Everything before they went to the court to get a warrant to spy on a fellow American citizen and then to spy on the Trump campaign. They knew who paid for the document. They didn't tell the court that. They knew the Orr's involvement, both Bruce and Nellie's involvement in producing that document. They didn't tell the court that. And they didn't tell the court the statement that Mr. Zeldin read. That Christopher Steele had told Bruce Orr, and Bruce Orr had told the key people at the FBI that Chris Steele, the author of the document, was desperate to stop Trump from being elected. Those are pretty darn important facts that they did not convey to the court. The other thing we learned last week as well is that the key people all knew. Andy McCabe knew, Lisa Page knew, Peter Strzok knew, and Andrew Weissman at DOJ knew as well. So that's important information that, again, I think the American people need to see these documents, see this information so they can look at it and evaluate for themselves. The other key fact is this. Orr and Steele continued to meet, as Mr. Zeldin talked about. Even after the FBI fired the guy who wrote the document, who wrote the key document that was the basis for all this, the dossier. They continue to meet, they continue to have conversations, and there are all these 302s that we want to see, and more importantly, the American people deserve to see. Not only did those continue after Steele was fired, these meetings and these interactions, and the 302s from then, it also continued after Bob Mueller's special counsel was named. No one has seen those 302s. No one has seen those. We want those made available as well. And then finally, the other key takeaway, I think, from last week was, why did Fusion and Chris Steele need Bruce Orr at all? Chris Steele had a direct line to the FBI. Why do you have to run information through Bruce Orr? He could just give this information straight to the FBI. I mean, I asked Bruce Orr about this. Why did they need you? And it seems to me the reason was all this circular pattern that existed that gives weight to a document that we all know now was not true, this dossier. If you got a top Justice Department official also passing information to the FBI, also talking about it, maybe even communicating this to the press or via him, or they can talk to the press about Bruce Orr's involvement, that gives weight to this document that we know wasn't accurate.
Thank God for Jim Jordan. I really hope he's the next Speaker of our
me
House.
too. My gosh.
He is just awesome. So I also want to know that it's not just Alex Jones being banned. We have a friend who runs a truther page, and he was taken down for 30 days. He wasn't even told why. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, hey, Jack, What are the rules? I believe there are only two genders. I think men dressed in drag reading books to preschoolers is child abuse. He was, Alex Jones was called out for calling out the transgenders. I question the awesomeness of the religion that shall not be named. I question official narratives. I might be a conspiracy theorist. So do I need to be taken off of all platforms as well? That's a really...
Hashtag I am Alex Jones.
Hashtag I am. There are no set rules. If you don't toe the mainstream line, stand up for constitutional principles. If you don't toe the mainstream line, if you stand up for constitutional principles and sanity, you could be next. We are all Alex Jones. If no crime is committed, then no one should be banned, period. Don't like someone's tactics? Too bad. Are NFL kneelers banned? People don't like their tactics. Are they banned? They're over the top. Mm-hmm. That's pretty over the top.
It is.
To kneel during the anthem of a professional football game.
Exactly.
Right? In the most tone-deaf episode in Twitter history, after a day of Jack assuring that conservatives, as I spelled wrong, are not censored and rules are applied across the board, Alex Jones has been permanently banned. I've tweeted out tons of examples of liberals' hate speech and harassment. They are not banned. And this is Mark Dice shows...
CNN is literally now harassing Trump supporters, including this 70-year-old Florida woman who they stalked and then just showed up at her house, stuck a microphone in her face, and then started pestering her because she shared something on Facebook that originally was posted by the Russian troll farm. I'll play the clip in just a moment because I'm not kidding, just like I wasn't kidding yesterday.
Came down last Friday.
And
Hillary Clinton message helped organize some of these activities that you posted on your own Facebook account.
Those were legitimate.
Those were...
He just called it. It was just awful. It's so crazy. If you're... John Solomon, Sherrick Carter go on Sean Hannity all the time. They're constantly dropping new things. We're learning that Bruce Orr was this go-to guy. We're learning that all of this was colluded between Christopher Steele, who hated Trump, who was friends with Bruce Orr, who none of this we knew in 2016 when all this was dropped. And that's the crazy thing behind it all. You had Bruce Orr, who was anti-Trump, Christopher Steele, who was anti-Trump. Obviously, Obama is anti-Trump. Loretta Lynch is anti-Trump. Right. And they're doing all this to get and spy on Trump. And somehow, I still don't understand how the special counsel was started because Rosenstein is leading it, but he signed off on firing Comey, and they say it was because of firing Comey that the special counsel was, and something to do with Russia.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense. It's really hard to put together.
Exactly.
It's very convoluted. There's so many lies. It's so much easier to be a Democrat than a Republican when being covered by the mainstream media. So this is when Kagan, who's one of our Supreme Court justices right now, says, Kagan follows precedent by offering few opinions, meaning if you have a case before you, how would you react to that case? And then Kavanaugh ducks questions on presidential powers and subpoenas. They totally go both ways. So mainstream media reporters can shout questions at public figures after congressional hearings, but Alex Jones gets permanently banned. So all these people are shouting questions at him, but Alex Jones is too, and he's the one that gets banned.
Right. That's
what I'm trying to say. Paul Joseph Watson, he 12 hours he was banned. James Gunn made child rape jokes, never suspended. Sarah Young makes racist white jokes, never suspended. Verified accounts call for death of our president, never suspended. Censorship is real. Welcome to 1984. Alex Jones banned. Let's see.
It really is only a matter of time before they get everyone.
Yeah. So this one is funny. You have Senator Orrin Hatch, this guy right here. He's a Republican, leaning into Grassley saying, "You know, I knew Spartacus."
That is fantastic.
The fact that it came from Senator Orrin's office,
I love it,
is absolutely hilarious.
That is, yeah, I love it.
Right. If you guys didn't check our interview with St. Mark the Evangelist, please check that out. Here is Trump responding to that resistance op-ed.
Someday when I'm not president, which hopefully will be in about 6.5 years from now, the New York Times and CNN and all of these phony media outlets
will be out of business, folks. They'll be out of business because there'll be nothing to write and there'll be nothing of interest. So nobody has done what this administration has done. And I agree, it's different from an agenda, which is much different than ours, and it's certainly not your agenda, that I can tell you. Thank you. It's about open borders. It's about letting people flee into our country. It's about a disaster and crime for our country. So they don't like Donald Trump, and I don't like them because they're very dishonest people. Remember this also about the New York Times. When I won, they were forced to apologize to their subscribers. They wrote a letter of apology. It was the first time anybody's ever done it because they covered the election incorrectly. So if the failing New York Times has an anonymous editorial, can you believe it? Anonymous, meaning gutless, a gutless editorial. We're doing a great job. The poll numbers are through the roof. Our poll numbers are great. And guess what? Nobody is going to come close to beating me in 2020 because of what we've done. We've done more than anybody ever thought possible in, it's not even 2 years. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Here's the deal when he says that, though. I have confidence that he is right, that nobody can come close to touching Donald Trump in 2020. I do, however, have two what I believe are legitimate fears. That is the Democrats stealing the House and the Senate in the midterms, which is why they are coming at social media so hard, and election fraud. They do control a lot of these polling places and the different mechanisms of voting. That's why they were so sure that Hillary was going to win. They weren't sure that Hillary was going to win because they just thought that many Americans were going to vote for her. They promised Hillary that the election was in her bag because they had so many illegal voters and they had the actual voting machines in their pockets. And Trump still had so much support that he managed to beat all of that. They have 2 more years to pull out the stops on the presidential election for more fraud. And they still have the illegals, which is why they don't want the wall built, because they want more illegal votes coming in.
This was a good moment in the hearing. I don't think it accomplished anything, but Representative Mullen read Sarah Young's tweets, and to get Jack Dorsey's response.
August 27 or 2018, conservative activist Candace Owens' account.
Can't make it bigger. Sorry, guys.
Was suspended after essentially imitating a account from a New York Times editorial board member
who has a blue check mark.
Susan, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Jong.
Did not lose her job.
Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
Let me read what Miss Jong wrote. Hashtag cancel white people. White people marking up the internet with their opinions like dogs pissing on fire hydrants. Are white people genetically predisposed to burn faster in the sun, thus logically being only fit to live underground like graveling goblins? Oh man, it's kind of sick how much I enjoy, or how much joy I get out of being cruel to old white man. I open my mouth to politely greet a Republican, but nothing but an unending cascade of vomiting flows from my mouth. Now that same tweet went out by Candace Owens, but replaced Jewish for white. Ms. Owens' account was suspended and flagged. The New York Times reporter account wasn't. What's the difference?
We did make a mistake with Owens.
But I've heard you say that multiple times. We made a mistake.
The mistake was, okay, we see that you meant to just do what this other person did. That was okay. But if somebody else had tweeted this stuff about Jews, then it would not be okay.
Right.
We made a mistake. I've heard you say that the whole time you've been up here, and you've been very polite and pretty awesome at doing it. But the fact is, it's bigger than a mistake. It's the environment to which I think Twitter has.
You need to get your environment
My point
fixed.
of the first question was, does that fit your political views to which your company is following? Because there seems to be a pattern here.
No, it doesn't. I value variety and perspective, and I value seeing people from all walks of life and all points of views. And we do make errors along the way, both in terms of our algorithms and also the people who are following guidelines to review content.
Yeah, well, when
but you know what? It's so interesting that all of these mistakes that you keep making, Mr. Dorsey, seem to be happening only to conservatives.
There's no excuse from because of confidentiality and class.
Spartacus moment. Let's see here. Here we have another picture of the man caught paying off the protesters. Spoke to the protest organizer. She confirmed handing out cash, but said they intended cash to be used to pay fines they know come when protesters break the law. That's awesome. So yeah, they're definitely paid people cash to stand up, just innocent people during the Kavanaugh thing. Mom, Patriot Gallery.
The question is, as a senator thinks he has any power, which he's supposed to, then you ask the question, Mr. Dorsey, why are you flat out lying to the Senate committee? Why are you lying? So he has to answer the question why he's lying, because we all know he's lying. Mm-hmm. That gives the Senate more power over Mr. Dorsey and can't keep lying.
Yeah. So I watched Alex Jones' live stream. I was actually really happy about his live stream. I thought it went really well. Kavanaugh is going to be confirmed. Let me play this here from Ted Cruz.
Not about Judge Kavanaugh's credential. If it's not about a judicial record, what is this fight about? I believe this fight is nothing more and nothing less than an attempt by our Democratic colleagues to relitigate the 2016 presidential election.
Boom.
2016 was a hard-fought election all around. And it was the first presidential election in 60 years where Americans went to the polls with a vacant seat on the Supreme Court, one that the next president would fill. Americans knew who had been in that seat, the late Justice Antonin Scalia, one of the greatest jurists ever to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court. And it was the first time since President Dwight D. Eisenhower's re-election campaign that a Supreme Court seat was directly on the ballot. Both candidates knew the importance of the vacant Supreme Court seat, and it was a major issue of contention in the presidential election. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton were both clear about what kind of justices and judges they would appoint.
Lindsey Graham said, "You don't get to lose election and pick judges." All right, guys. I'm going to end with this because I know we have a lot to cover.
Thing.
Well, yeah, we probably should say that for Sunday, but we can do it tonight too. Because I think we all need a little laugh. Somebody put this together.
Wearing number 1 for the Los Angeles traffic today is 9-year-old Tommy Douglas. Tommy has lived most of his life in the hospital after being born with a potato for a heart and will undergo a heart transplant surgery next weekend. He's about as big of a traffic fan as they come, so in partnership with the Grant-A-Wish Foundation, both teams have agreed to come together and have Tommy run the first play of the game.
George Soros is out there. We've got Maxine Waters, just in case you guys can't see the faces.
And what's his name from CNN?
Is it paused?
Yeah, so you can see the people.
Another little cutback move, and it looks like he's gonna go all the way.
Got Anthony Weiner in there, Mitch McConnell, Marco Rubio.
Look at him go.
John Podesta, John McCain.
This is really one of those heartwarming moments in sports where you just... Oh my God! That is not good.
That's really great.
I know. Go ahead. Let's play the Tommy thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's make sure I still have it up here. All right.
Ted Cruz said, "If you have the facts on your side, pound the facts. If you have the law on your side, pound the law. If you have neither, pound the table." What you're seeing during the Kavanaugh thing was a lot of pounding of the table. That was pretty cool.
So one of these earphones, we need like 8 sets. Do you know these earbuds always die? I'm going to get like 8 of them. One of these works, the other one doesn't. I'm going to find out which one it is. Okay. All right, Britt, this is for you.
Since being released.
Tommy!
This is my first video I've done since being released. And I want to make it to address UKIP's NEC. I've seen in the media there's a big debate now on whether Tommy Robinson, myself, will be allowed to join UKIP. And actually the NEC are going to make a decision on Sunday, not on whether I'm allowed to join, but whether they're going to let their members make that decision. They're basically saying, do they trust their members to make their own decision? Do they believe in the democracy in their own party? Or will the 12 members of the NEC, I believe it's 12, make a decision that they don't trust their own supporters? That they'll make a decision, like the establishment do, to tell everyone how they can think. Now, UKIP have the opportunity to electrify this country's working class. I've seen people make comments that, oh, if Tommy Robinson joined UKIP, they might lose 2,000 members. You might gain 20,000. You might cause a political revolution in Britain. We have sat for too long, and we get excited in this country. Sweden's elections are coming up. We get excited about watching the election in Sweden. The Swedish Democrats, good luck to you. We're hand on heart. We want the best for Sweden. May get 30% of the vote. We get excited about the Italian election. It's about time the British public had a party they can get excited about. And I applaud Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage concentrated on Brexit, and he deserves the applause for bringing us Brexit. Nigel wasn't prepared to talk about Islam. And maybe because he didn't want to drain himself, and he didn't want the accusations and the problems it will bring. And he wanted to concentrate on his focus, which was Brexit, and well done for that. But please don't try and condemn other people who are brave enough to challenge this. I've watched and I've met Gerard Batten. And I want to say a thank you to UKIP, to Gerard Batten, for speaking up on my behalf, for reaching out to the people of this country, for going and mixing it with the general people on the street in this country. I've stood and I listened to Gerard Batten, and that is the only politician I've watched and I've listened to that would make me get up and vote. I would join UKIP, but I find it amazing that the NEC could make a decision themselves that would prevent their own members from making their own decision on their party. So on Sunday, working class communities across this country, the name Tommy Robinson, it's become a symbol. It's become far more than me. The Free Tommy movement was not about me. It was about the British public. It was about people all over the world who feel oppressed, who feel they're being dictated to, who feel they don't have a voice. Now a movement has been created to give those people a voice. On Sunday, the NEC of UKIP, you have a choice to make. Do you represent that feeling, or do you crush it? This isn't actually about Tommy Robinson, me personally. This is about whether you're willing to take up that movement, willing to politicise that movement, and willing to give people in this country a voice against the wrongs that we know are happening, a voice to challenge the establishment. And if you look at the response from the left-wing media in this, they're terrified of me joining UKIP. They're terrified. They know the support we have. They know the support I have across this country. They know the way the public are feeling. And they want to do everything they can to stop it.
Wow. Now that is something
Okay,
else.
all right, Barry, it was worth it. You were right. Barry
That
gets a
is
cookie.
so good.
That is
So we'll see.
electrifying. That is exciting. We shall see what happens, how it plays out. Tommy is right. The fear is that they would lose some UKIP members, and they will. They will lose UKIP members if Tommy joins. But they would gain so many more. It would be idiotic of them not to allow Tommy to join.
I've never heard of
UKIP.
it. You don't have to, like, anybody can join the Republican Party or the Democrat Party here.
I really don't quite understand that. Let me go get the mail call really quick. So, speaking of InfoWars, somebody keeps sending us InfoWars stuff. These are magnets. These are car magnets here.
That's an awful big car magnet, by the way.
I told Leah, I'm not ashamed. I would be proud to have this on my vehicle. The problem that I have with putting it on my vehicle is that people are going to think that I'm like an InfoWars reporter, and I'm not, and so I feel weird wearing the badge. Like,
I will stand with InfoWars. I will put this on my car.
We will put it on the car. We definitely will. I like the fact that it's a magnet and it doesn't have to go on the back. So whoever you are that keeps sending us InfoWars stuff, maybe it's different people. I don't know. Sending us InfoWars stuff. We love InfoWars. We stand with InfoWars. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. Next up, we have, I know that Terry and Eric were here earlier. I'm not sure if Eric's mom, Kathy, is with us tonight or not. But she sent a beautiful, lovely card here. Show them the card. Or,
I will.
Go ahead.
So cute.
It's really, really cute. I'm going to open it up and read it.
Dear Svensson family, I made these crosses for each of you in appreciation of all the hard work and long hours you put into your channel to bring us the true news and God's words. May God bless you and keep you healthy and safe. Love, Kathy, Eric's mom.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You literally made them for each and every single one of us.
Oh, Uncle Jack got one too.
Kansas gets one. And oh wow. No, you didn't open yours.
I know. I thought I'd start with this one.
Okay.
That's cute.
Kathy, these are absolutely beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you. Make sure that I have it.
Here's Kansas.
Right. Wow. That is so cool. Aww. I don't even know how you made these.
That's really pretty.
I'm going to open up Patriot Galleries. Thank you, Kathy. Oh my gosh. So, so very thoughtful. This is the one for Patriot. Oh, wow. That's really pretty when you hold it up to the light.
Oh, that's really pretty.
It's multicolored. Are they all multicolored?
So,
yes, they are. They are.
You might catch me wearing Uncle Jack's because I love this blue. But maybe.
Thank you, Kathy. These are absolutely
you did a good job. These
beautiful.
Are pretty.
Well, and I like that each chain kind of
goes with it.
Goes with it. These are kind of more guy chains.
Yeah,
and,
I get Matt to wear, Kansas to wear his.
Oh, he totally will.
Man,
sure. I love it, dude.
So
Kathy,
cool.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. You did a good job.
You did a fantastic job.
I appreciate it. You'll see it because when
you definitely will. Yeah, I like that. I like that it's definitely noticeable.
And they're pretty.
And they are very pretty. All right, so Chris Holman is going to go live right after this. If I'm getting this wrong, you guys are going to have to forgive me because I know that he and Kelly were both talking about going live. Kelly was saying that she's going to go live because her husband Eric has something on his heart to share. If you guys are not subscribed to Kelly PB Fam, Kelly, you want to say something in the chat so people can click on your channel and go and subscribe there. And like I said, Chris Holman will be going live as well this evening. He actually was getting ready to go live at the same time as we came back in, and he told me, and I was like, well, we're going live. And he's like, dude, I'll wait. No problem. So if you guys can't get enough of the kind of content that you get here at Resistance Chicks, you have Kelly and you have Chris that you can get it from as well. So we are going to be going live on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully.
But we do have a hurricane or whatever.
Yeah, so also, thank you, Maia. We do have a hurricane that's happening, like
if
current.
something else happens, we can't control the
Lord,
weather.
the Bible says, do not say tomorrow we shall do this or that, but as the Lord leads.
Yeah.
So as the Lord leads, we'll be going live Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for being patient with us and coming back. Yeah. Chris says, I don't say dude. Well, you know what? You do when I say it for you. Because Michelle says dude all the time. All right, guys. Thank you to our moderators who were here tonight. I know that it looked like they were having a bit of a workout.
We have people?
No, not people. Really, you're just gonna. Whoa.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. But no, it's hard when there's a lot of negativity in the chat. And
who's being negative, Nancy?
And so I think the moderators have to use a lot of discretion to figure out what is appropriate and what is going to keep the chat civil. All right, you guys.
Be nice.
We love you. God loves you. God bless. Remember, it is not just a conspiracy theory. If it's the truth, like, comment, and subscribe to Mass Faith 3 and Resistance Chicks. Ring that little bell for notifications. You may get them, you may not. Patriot Gallery has one more thing to add.
Well, I had a great thought while Trump was saying, New York Times and CNN, they won't be there, if he wasn't there. And I'm like, 5 years now, YouTube, Facebook, they won't be here anymore. Twitter won't be here anymore. There's all these other people, upstarts. They're just sprouts right now, but they're growing. Yeah, they're gonna go away to MySpace. These people won't even be here anymore because, we got all these other places to go now. Right. They're not. They shouldn't think they're so hot anymore.
This necklace.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful. I'll take it. Thank you. Yeah, I like Jack's little blue one too. I thought, Leah, that was really pretty.
Yeah.
And she
They're
got that
very, very pretty. All right, you guys. I'm really gonna. I hate to leave you, but I really must say, good night, Resistance Chicks viewers. Good night. Remember, you are the resistance. People keep trying to take that whole resistance thing. You can't take it. The left, they're just a bunch of stinkers. All right, you guys. Good night. Don't forget to go to Chris Holman's channel and Kelly's as well. God bless.
I was cold.